Welcome back, Nerdiverse, for another rendition of MOTN Reviews, where we take a look at some of the hottest summer blockbusters of all time and everything in between. We are the masters of the Nerdiverse. I'm Mike G, and introducing the queen herself, the invisible woman, but also visible, Tootie Odin. What's going on?
Not much is going on. Been pretty busy with work, I suppose. I guess that's a lot going on then. Yeah, hey, what's up?
It's
Good to be here.
all the things going on.
Yep,
You know what I'm saying?
all of them.
All of them, all four of them, mind you, all one, two, three, four of them. Today we are going to be reviewing one of the biggest movies of the summer. Is right there neck and neck with Superman. Watch our Superman review. Get that some likes. Get
There
that
you
some
go.
comics. Get that some subscribes. But today I'm wearing my Dodger blue to go with the Four, my favorite Marvel group of all time, the Fantastic Four first steps. Um, Before we jump in to our review, I just wanted to say out there once again, if you like this content, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Tell your family, tell your friends, tell your uncles and nephews. Learn about us. We do good content here. Toots, are you excited about this review?
I'm very excited for this review. Absolutely.
Right off the bat, I don't care. We're going right into it. Who's your favorite member?
It's been a fantastic summer. Like, pun
Yeah.
intended, I suppose, but it's been a fantastic summer for movies, and it's kind of about time, I think. So, who's my favorite character? Well, in the movie or out of the four?
Just out of the four in general.
Sue Storm.
Very good pick. You chose
They're all pretty good
wisely.
picks, right?
You chose wisely. So, I always like to start with initial thoughts, and I'll tell you mine is my favorite has always been Sue Storm. I love Sue. She's the heart of the team to me. Um, the Fantastic Four have been all over the place, from cartoons to movies, of course, to the comics. What were your initial thoughts going into this movie? Were you a fan of the four before going in on any capacity? I'm just curious. What were your initial thoughts on this movie?
No, I can't call myself a fan of the Fantastic Four because I didn't know enough about them. Um, you in passing, like I've mentioned previously, you see the Adult Swim version of these cartoons, in that style of animation, the 40s, 50s, the Batman and Robin animated, you know what I mean? Like all of those were kind of clustered in together, and I remember seeing those as a kid, but was not really introduced to the Fantastic Four until college, until you came around, honestly. And then, you got me, you forced me to read so many comic books, and got me interested in so many things. So that my real introduction was actually in college. But even then, I still can't necessarily say I'm a fan. I'm not a fan. I don't not like them. Not to use too many double negatives, but yeah, no, they're a great team, and this was a very good this was a very good way to introduce them to somebody who doesn't know who they are. Period. Oh my goodness. Let's go.
Yeah, talk about an origin story without having to be an origin story.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like you said, you nailed it perfectly. Very good introduction to the Fantastic Four. My dad, Mike Prime, being a big giant comic book nerd, I've known about the Fantastic Four as early as I can draw. You know what I mean? It's just always been on. Like you said, the '60s cartoon, the '90s Fantastic Four. You know, like on Fox back in the day, the
I don't
'90s.
remember the 90s at all.
Yeah,
Not them.
Reed
Wow.
Richards, he's elastic. Sue can flee from sight. Johnny's the human torch, and the thing just likes to fight. Just call the four. Sorry, I had to do the whole thing.
Wow.
It'll be that was the theme song for the '90s cartoon.
I did not know we had one. I
Yeah,
didn't.
they're so good. They're so good. And
They definitely took a back seat to me then, because I mean, X-Men was still there, Batman the animated series. You can't get enough of either one of those two. So yeah, that took me away. So yeah, man, I swear to God, how do I not remember that there was an actual? And I'm sure the animation style was the same for that too, right?
yeah, it's
Like the others. So yeah, weird that I don't remember it
you're
at all.
not wrong. A lot of people don't remember this weird pocket of cartoons because Batman, Spider Man, and X Men were just taking over the world. But there
Hmm.
was an Iron Man cartoon that ran for 2 seasons, an Incredible Hulk cartoon that ran during the '90s, and FF, and they were just like these quiet little pockets of nerddom. You know what I mean? And not to mention, the Tim Story, Jessica Alba, Chris Evans, Fantastic Four films, which were in their own right pretty good. You know, I think this film had a lot to prove because of the mixed message, the mixed feelings of those old movies. Galactus is not a cloud, all that fun stuff. You know what I mean? So I think this had to get it right. And just like Superman, I think this is a movie that had to do well for Marvel. So my initial thoughts, I was scared. I was honestly scared. I didn't know how to feel about this movie. I was very apprehensive because okay, it's not in the 616. They're not interacting with Iron Man or you know what I mean, or um, the Thunderbolts. They're in their own little pocket, which is almost to their benefit because you can just disconnect from all that homework you have to do.
Exactly. That's an amazing point. There was no homework involved in having to watch this movie whatsoever. Yeah, at all. That is the best thing to take out of it, if nothing else. This movie is for anybody, and everybody. To be honest, everybody has a family, right? Everybody, you know what I mean? Like this movie questions your ability to what are you willing to sacrifice? Are you willing to sacrifice your family to get what you want, or are you willing to keep your family and sacrifice what needs to be sacrificed, and just have to deal with the fact that you don't have what you want or have what you need or whatnot? In this case, it was obviously a very deeper and a deeper thing, and it's in the new trailers. And that's another thing I'll say, because the original trailer, the intro trailer, gave no clue as to what this movie was about. I believe they were just cooking, and all they really did was mention, "Hey, it's family day. We have dinner at such and such a time," and it was a very endearing moment. But it gave you no clue as to what these characters were going to be. So immediately, a lot of the comic critics were like, "Well, this is probably going to be really lame because how bland are these characters?" You know what I mean? Like they didn't give you a thing. And then now, as the movie's out, the trailers are starting to get extensive, and they start to actually explain the story. So yeah, essentially, the movie is just about Sue Storm and Reed Richards having to decide whether they're going to sacrifice their child for the planet Earth or sacrifice the planet Earth for their child. And that's the crux of the movie. Like, what are they going to do? So yeah, that is in the trailer now, but was not in the trailer in the beginning. And I kind of like that they did it that way.
Yeah,
Actually,
they
they
didn't
didn't
bury.
give anything away.
Yeah, they didn't bury the lead, and I think that's like shout out to Wash, Brian Wash. He hates when the trailer gives away the whole movie. You know
Yeah,
what I
me too.
mean? And it's like I don't even think those scenes from the original trailer are in this movie, right? They don't do that whole thing in the movie where it's like, this is when we meet for breakfast, and this is where we sit, and like that whole walkthrough. I think they just filmed that for that trailer, just to give you a taste of the world you're living in. Because
Yeah.
you know what I mean. Yeah, I think this. I think the way they approached this movie was masterfully done. Um, One thing I did want to talk about is just like when we touched upon it in our initial thoughts. It's just the history of how important it was to be Marvel's first family, created by Jack Kirby and Stan Lee way back when, and just such a different approach to a superhero team. You know what I mean? Like the Fantastic Four's modus operandi is not necessarily to go punch out bad guys. They're to
Right.
be a family and explore the further reaches of the cosmos. That's all
Right.
they really want to do.
It's
You
so
know?
funny. I was actually talking to a friend today about the movie. They had just went and seen it last night, and we were just talking about our favorite scenes. And I was just telling him one of my favorite scenes is when Sue Storm walks through a protest with the baby in her hands, and just the idea that she has the ability. If anybody and nobody obviously thought twice to try to take the baby, try to harm her, given the situation, but just the idea that she can just walk through confidently with her child, knowing damn well no one is going to touch her because if they do, she'll kill him, is
Yeah.
pretty cool. But then he said, "Well, actually, she really wouldn't do that." It's like, well, duh, of course she wouldn't do that. They're not into. But my point was was missed. Basically, is what I was trying. You know,
Yeah,
it was kind of annoying. Yeah,
yeah.
he just totally missed my point on that one.
He had to
Well,
actually.
she wouldn't do that. And like, well, yeah,
Technically.
I know, but yeah, that's a testament to her. Of course, that wouldn't be a thought of an initial thought. You know what I mean? And um, these characters have more depth than they could have, way more, which I think is really cool.
Um,
Yeah,
it's the implication, right? It's the
because of the
implication
implication.
because of the implication. Yeah, she can.
Right.
What I love is that the world is going to finally see that you do not mess with Susan Storm.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's one of the most quiet, kind of like super nerd things about the Fantastic Four. Is like people think Reed's the leader. Mm-mm. It's Mama Bear.
Yeah,
It's Susan Storm is the leader of the Fantastic Four and the most powerful. Just full stop. And being a big nerd and seeing that come out in her in the comics, like her defeating Doctor Doom by herself, and it's like I'm not going to go into spoilers of the movie, but there's a scene where people were kind of like, "Oh, I don't know," and I'm like, "No, Sue is, yeah, Sue is her." You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
And
that was wild. Yeah,
yeah,
I can't. Are we doing spoilers?
not yet, not
Oh no
not
no no! I mean,
yet.
are we doing them
Yes.
for this episode? Okay,
Oh yeah. Got to
okay,
talk
just
through it
asking.
all of it.
Are the
Uh,
slides up? Because they're not up for me.
oh, good. 1 second. Let me see if I can put the slides up for you. Give me 2 shakes of a lamb's tail. Hopefully, he doesn't.
If not, it's okay. It's you know what I mean. That
I'll give it
way,
this. I'll give it the old college try. While we do that, it shouldn't take me too long. Too long. All right, they should be up.
nice. There it
Beautiful.
is.
Yep, Marvel's first family. I just love this dynamic, and I think people think I'm weird because I like this more than the X-Men. I like it more than the Avengers, and it's because I like the idea that this family is doing the impossible without having to punch, kick, kill. You know what I mean? That's not. They will do that if they have to, but they're not out for that thrill. They're not out for
Right.
that kind of push. And I think it's so wholesome, but at the same time, it's like Star Trek mixed with like the Justice League. You know what I mean? Like they go into the universe and find cool things like the Silver Surfer and Galactus. So I just wanted to just give a shout out to them being Marvel's first family and being so like respected in all of comics. You know what I mean? You know, it's like no one who has a disparaging word against the Fantastic Four. You know, you got to be a pretty,
Right.
you got to be pretty, as you know, pretty black pill to say, well, this team sucks. They don't have good,
Yeah.
you know,
Right.
like, bruh. And like you said, in this movie, they're way more layered than they have to be. Each member is extremely layered, and we're gonna go into it. And I like this slide to infinity and beyond. You know what I mean? Just I wanted to use this slide to showcase like each member a little bit before we go into spoilers and like their strengths and weaknesses. Like Johnny seems like a hothead and maybe not the smartest of the group, but the man learned an alien language, not big spoilers, but he learned an alien language by himself and said, "No, I got this." You know what I mean? So each of them is really strong in their own individual parts and just like a family, right? And but when they come together, they're damn near unstoppable. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And I think it plays into the vulnerability aspect because they are a family. So there's so many aspects of these people that you can attack. Like for instance, when me and Mike G went and saw the movie together, and there was actually a scene where she finds out she's pregnant. They immediately announce it because they're somewhat of celebrities or superheroes, but they're also somewhat of a celebrity status in that universe. So they do announce it. Oh, Sue Storm is pregnant, blah, blah, blah. And my immediately thought is like, why the hell would they tell anybody? You know what I mean? So like they're actually seemingly at peace with how vulnerable they actually are. Any single one of them can get attacked and it'll affect every single one of them at once. That's what makes it that's what makes vulnerability. And yet they don't feed into that energy very well. They understand and recognize it for what it is and they figure things out accordingly. And that's pretty damn cool. Now that's an actual team. That's what an actual well-built, well-founded foundationally sound team would do. So yeah, they are pretty damn solid team.
Yeah,
The four of them.
you said foundation. It made me think of the Future Foundation, which is one of
Oh
their
shit.
you
Yeah.
know nice. You did like a cool nerdy call out there. Yeah. And you were like, why would they say something like, well, they probably didn't have a choice. You know what I'm saying? Like, they are the only game in town, from my understanding. In that
Yeah.
universe, there's no other superheroes that we are aware of. It's Fantastic Four. Um, and like you said, there's a vulnerability to that celebrity. You know what I mean? They're not a menace like Spider-Man, or misunderstood like the X-Men. They're like rock stars. They're the dang, shout outs, and rest in peace Ozzy. They're the Osbournes in a weird way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But have saved the day and created cold fusion and faster than light travel, and they're just, they're the best of all things, but they're also extremely vulnerable, and like you said, have their own weaknesses on things. Like, one thing I love about Reed is that he's so perfectly imperfect. You know what I mean? On certain things, he's beyond measure and thought, but on like emotional things, he's very kind of like stilted and like almost regressed, to where Sue has to kind of interpret his thoughts, because he's thinking 28,000 steps beyond what's right in front of him, and that frustrates her. There's a scene that kind of touched me a little bit, where they're having an argument, and she's saying, well, the way you are sometimes hurts me. And that kind of jacked me up, because then he said, well, I don't mean to. This is just how I am. And it's like, shit. Like, these are arguments, relationships that sometimes happen.
Hmm.
You get frustrated with your partner in just who they are. And sometimes who they are is amazing, and sometimes it frustrates you. And it's like they're working through it. They're talking through it. They're not. In other movies, they would have some kind of spat and not talking, and some event would bring them back together. Some,
Hmm.
cornball shit like that. But
Right.
no, they nipped it in the bud right there.
Yeah,
I
they
think
did.
that's super
Yeah.
smart. You know what I
Yep.
mean? What are your thoughts on just the relationship dynamics within the team?
I thought they were perfect. It was super well-rounded and emotionally healthy. And that is what needs to be promoted in movies, if you ask me. The family first aspect of this film, for one, the be kind is punk rock, or be kind is a new punk rock in Superman. I mean, these are human traits that aren't being preached anymore. And not to get preachy or not to become from a religious aspect by any means, these films didn't do that. They didn't come from any type of like religious agenda of any sort. Being kind has nothing to do with religion. It has to do with humanity. Putting your family first is not religious. It's just how it is. It should be how it is in human nature, especially in survival situations. I cannot survive without my right arm. I cannot survive without my left arm. And sometimes those arms are our family, are expenditures of us when it comes to survival. This family is an exact portrayal of that. Um, yeah, they
You're right.
it's really weird because I'm looking at the picture, I'm looking at Johnny, I'm like they function perfectly. Every single one of them imperfect in their own way, but they function perfectly. Ben with his insecurities, like you said, Johnny with his anger issues, with which come out but barely, just a little bit. It's not really anger; it's more annoyance
Yeah.
of what's up, why we're having dinner. Just small things that are annoying. He's maybe a little bit desperate, a little bit too tired of being single. You know what I mean? Like there's certain things. Reed Richards, with him being a little bit too logical and a little bit too smart for his own good, where it does cause conflict with others, and that dynamic in that family. And then Sue Storm, she's extremely strong-headed. You know what I mean? All she wants is the very best for every single one of them, and sometimes that doesn't come out the way she wants it to. You know what I mean? So every single one of them have something that they have to work on, and they immediately work on it right then and there, and it's effective, and it's communicative, and these are healthy things that we should start seeing in our movies, because we believe, whether we like it or not, we you watch enough movies, your personality starts to change into certain characters, and that happens to everybody. So why, if you want to be, anybody, I'd rather be, um maybe one of these characters, as opposed to, I don't know, somebody in a horror film, who's,
Hmm.
you know what I mean. Who knows? But the more movies you watch, the more, even if you don't watch a lot of movies, sometimes we tend to take these personalities on because we find attraction to certain things. And this is one of those things that I think deep down in our gut as humans, we find attractive. Kindness, communication, it's all effective in the most positive way in these movies. these small little backfires that happen in the film aren't really something that you have to go back and be like, oh no, it's the end of the world. It's beautiful. It's
Yeah.
beautiful to see. It's not the end of the world, no matter
Hmm.
what. And they literally were facing the end of the world. You know what I mean?
Even at the end of the world, it wasn't. I love that's a poignant way to put it. Even at the absolute end of the world, it still wasn't the absolute end of the world because they had each other. You
Right.
know what I mean?
and
And
and by each other, Sue Storm, and the scene that we mentioned previously, and while she walked through the protest, she made sure that the people she was talking to, while the cameras were on her, the entire world was watching the Fantastic Four. She said, you are part of us. We cannot be us without you. She extended the invitation of her family to the entire world. She said, I would not sacrifice my child for this world, but I would never sacrifice this world for my child. That is powerful.
yeah,
That is absolutely
I
powerful.
just got goosebumps,
Me
dude. Like,
too.
this movie
Me
is
too.
so
It's yeah,
good. This movie sneaks on you. It's like a glass of wine. It's like the more I thought about it, the more hype I was getting. Like that was damn good, man.
yeah.
I love that it preaches positivity in a subtle way. It doesn't bang you over the head with it. Very akin to Superman. And like you said, these are the things that we need more in our such a cynical world we've grown. Movies like this, I think, should start to peek through and maybe just touch a couple of hearts and and maybe change a couple of minds to infinity and beyond. Right?
Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, Toots' favorite part of the show, spoilers ahead. She likes to say just spoilers,
Spoilers.
spoilers.
I
So,
can't do the spoilers here though, because you'd have to take the helm on this one, because I don't know what all the spoilers are. I just watched a good ass movie. So
okay,
I don't know what the spoilers are necessarily.
perfect. So this screen is just a warning. It's a warning. That we're going to be going into spoilers of the Fantastic Four. So if you haven't seen the movie yet, or you do not want to be spoiled, and there are things to spoil, um, pause this. Don't turn it off. Don't you dare turn it off. Pause it. Go see the movie and turn it back on. I think that's the best workflow to maintain MOTN optimization. MTL
I'll
optimization.
timestamp the spoiler in the comments, just so you guys know. But make sure you like the video.
Like, comment, and subscribe. Accept Toots' work. Sweating, sweating,
Pissed off. All
sweating.
right, let's go. Let's go.
Before we go into spoilers, we have a guest to the episode.
Oh, that's right. Herbie literally sat next to me while we watched the movie.
You know what I
Yeah.
found out the other day? Check this out. You hear that? He has secrets.
What the heck?
He has. He goes Fantastic Four. It's super long too,
Oh, I hear it. Oh my God, that's
and he
so cool.
and he also comes with a light that shines the Fantastic Four logo in the dark. I did
And
not
you
know
can
that.
drink out of him.
And you drink out of his brain, dude. This thing is awesome. I just want to
That is
show
badass. I'm
before we,
sorry, but that is cool.
I just want to show that off because I was just like, I'm chronically online, and I saw this little short. It was like, did you know if you got the Herbie box, it does this? That I was like, no, it doesn't. And I'm looking at mine in the corner, and I'm like, and I push the button. I'm like, yeah, let's get hype. Super hype, super hype.
It's so funny you keep calling him Kirby, because I was doing the same thing because of Jack Kirby. But
Yes,
I also kept calling the movie Final Fantasy because it's FF. So every time I hear FF, I'm thinking Final
Final
Fantasy. So
Fantasy.
automatically, I'm like, oh yeah, did you watch Final Fantasy? And that's not the name of the movie. So yeah, okay. So
We're all
it's not just
It's not just you. I've been calling him
oh, okay.
Kirby ever since, and it's bad.
That's funny.
Rest in peace, Jack Kirby. Ooh, so
And Ozzy.
and Ozzy and Malcolm. You know what I'm saying? Um,
Ooh, I cannot wait to talk about Silver Surfer.
would you like to discuss the plots? Would you give us your elevator pitch for what this movie is about?
Okay, well, I did do that just previously, just a little bit, but
Yeah.
yes, the movie does open up with Sue Storm and Reed Richards. She's in the restroom. She takes a pregnancy test. The announcement happens. Hey, we're having a baby. They get very excited, also very scared. Immediately scared. Reed Richards' brain starts going 1,000 miles a minute. Um, healthy pregnancy. You know, somehow word gets out that she's pregnant, obviously, to other worlds and planets, universes, and galaxies. And here comes this Silver Surfer down to the planet Earth, and they don't recognize her as anybody from anywhere. They've never seen a being such as this, so they're very curious. Obviously, very apprehensive. She comes and she gives them a warning. She warns them that basically Galactus has woken up and he's hungry, and Earth is what he's looking at to eat. It looks very delicious. She does end up giving them an ultimatum in exchange for your son, blah blah blah. So they find out she's pregnant. Immediately, they want the boy sacrificed. Now, what I liked about this part is, just a few scenes later, you actually get to see Galactus, which is an insane character. Blew me the hell away in so many ways. First of all, she only mentions it one time. Silver Surfer or is it Sue? Sue Storm, I think, basically confirms that he is a god. Nobody else says it. She's the one who knows. Look, man, this guy's a god. Like, we have no chance. It's never really said again, and in fact, never really implied so much. But that's basically what he is. He is all forms, right? He is omnipresent. He's omniscient. He's all of the things that you would think a god would be, right? But also, he is one of a few. I'm sure, like in mythical history, there's several gods that are turning the tides and whatnot, and he just happens to be one of them. So that being said, she does let them know that he's hungry, and in exchange for the earth, he will take the child. He, for whatever reason, knows that the child is extremely powerful, knows that the child holds all kinds of powers given that his parents' genetics have changed. So he thinks that this child is going to be the little like Tylenol that he can take that's just going to cure his hunger, his little Ozempic, his little
It's a
Ozempic baby.
little epic baby.
What I mean? So yeah, so yes, that's the whole plot of the movie, and they have to figure out how they're going to fight this guy whilst keeping their child, whilst keeping the earth and saving the earth. They do eventually figure it out by trying to remove the planet from a situation so that he cannot find the planet. That doesn't work, so they figure it out. Instead of moving the planet, they will move him, and they do that in a very specific way. Very good stuff. So you have to take it from here so that you can deliver all the spoilers. But that is the plot of the movie, and they win. Spoiler.
They win. That's the big. And that's the spoiler of all time. They win. Yeah, the introduction of the Silver Surfer as Shalaba. And it's funny. There was so much internet chatter. Oh, why is Silver Surfer a woman? Why can't it be Norrin Rad? This is a bullshit. It's been quiet ever since this movie's been out
Yep,
because
I agree.
the
Yeah.
Silver Surfer's a bad ass in this movie. She
Yo,
does an
she's insane.
she does an amazing job
I
giving
agree.
giving the stoicism. She's relentless. She like it's funny that she's lit in red in this image because she's almost like the T1000. You know what I mean? There's a lot of T1000 energy, not just by the look, but by her determination and
Right.
almost her kindness. Say what you want about the T1000. He wasn't a mean guy. He was just on a mission. Hey, that's a nice bike. You know what I mean? Like she was praying for Johnny Storm at certain times. You know
And
what I mean?
she made it known all she was really doing was her job.
Yep.
And
Her
she made it known. She tried to justify that she sacrificed herself for certain things. She tried to justify it, and yet she's still pretty much allowing the person that she's working for eat all kinds of other planets, right?
mhm.
So, she tries to tell them, hey, one day maybe they'll see that, the sacrifice they made would be worth it too, the way I see it. You know what I mean? She was still trying to justify and redeem herself in the action she was taking, which is probably extremely confusing because she tried to kill him. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like she was trying to actively either get rid of him or, capture Sue. Um, by the way, there's a since we're in spoilers, there's an insane scene of Sue Storm giving birth to a baby in space with zero gravity.
My favorite scene of the movie. It's this
Insane scene.
insane
Wow.
scene where they encounter Galactus for the first time, and Galactus gives them the ultimatum. Your son possesses the power cosmic, which is pretty much what fuels Galactus, what fuels Silver Surfer, is the ultimate energy in the universe. And your son has infinite amounts of it. And if he's not eaten by me, he will become me at some point. and you need to give me your son, and I will spare your planet because I won't have my hunger anymore. I have my little Ozempic, I have my Wegovy, and we'll be good to go. Of course, they say hell to the. They go, oh nah nah. They go hell to the nah, and that spurs this amazing chase scene where they're in their pew pew spaceship, going faster than light. You
Yeah.
know, flying within the curvature of a wormhole, and Silver Surfer is keeping up by herself, moving faster than light, going faster than their ship, and she's surfing along this beautiful rendition of a wormhole, keep phasing through their ship, not really even attacking them, just doing her job, getting the baby. You know what I mean? While at the same time, Sue is in labor because Galactus did his wonk wonk eyes and made her go into labor. You know, like he went "Wah, rah, rah," and then she just went, then she went, you know, she was starting giving birth. So you have this zero gravity birth scene while they're cresting a black hole, and there's this beautiful shot. They trick the Silver Surfer into going into the black hole, and Reed was like, well, given her speed, she'd probably be able to escape this in about a month. And they trap the Silver Surfer. And you can see her extend out as the black hole starts to suck her in. And she goes, and her voice does that modulation. You know what I mean? Where it's like, you
Yeah.
know, it's so neat. It's
Yeah.
one of the best scenes I've seen in a very long time. A plus. And then she gives birth to Franklin Richards, the GOAT. Fun fact, when Franklin Richards grows up, Galactus becomes his herald in the comics. So what Silver Surfer is to Galactus, Galactus is to Franklin Richards when he becomes a
No
man.
shit. How does that even happen?
To me, my Galactus. You know what I'm saying? Like he's that powerful.
Wow. That's insane.
Yes, Franklin
Okay, so
Richards.
so Franklin Richards is an actual comic book. He's canon.
Yes, Franklin Richards has been around since the 70s. He, at one point, they thought he was a mutant, like the X-Men, but just an Omega level mutant, and then that was later kind of squashed. No, he is a multiversal entity that has reality warping abilities. There was a book called Onslaught where Professor X and Magneto merged together. It became a super demon and killed pretty much all of the Marvel universe. Magneto and Professor X came together and wiped out the whole Marvel universe. The only way they were saved is because Franklin Richards, as a toddler, created a pocket universe and pulled all their spirits and threw them into a brand new universe. And that became Heroes Reborn. And then they had to expand out and make a brand new 616. And it was Franklin Richards that started that. And this was like in 1991. That was like one of his major stories.
So is he a superhero or is he a supervillain?
It depends on
Or is
who's
he
writing him.
neither?
He's a problem. Like he was one of those
Hmm.
kids where Mr. Fantastic had to put limiters in his brain because when Franklin would dream, he would create stuff out of nowhere as a baby. So if he had a nightmare about a giant dinosaur, the giant dinosaur was in the city causing trouble, and the Fantastic Four had to go solve the problem. And so like
Little
stuff like
brat.
that. Like yeah, like one time somebody broke into the Baxter building, you know, just trying to steal technology or whatever, and Franklin was like maybe 7 years old. He's wearing his little cowboy outfit, and he does his hands like this, and he says, "Put him up, partner." Mine just like Juggernaut or somebody like that, like some super powerful villain. And he goes, "Bang!" And the guy just starts bleeding from his chest because Franklin Richards imagined he shot him, and he did, just off the top of his head.
Wow.
Like this kid is beyond powerful.
That's some Twilight Zone shit.
Yeah, he's literally the kid from the cornfield, pretty
Yeah,
much.
wow. It's a
So
good thing you did that, Franklin.
it's a good thing you did that, Franklin. Yes, we're very happy you turned the thing into poo. Turn him back, please. Now, you know. So one thing I love about this movie, and just going into spoilers, is that
Spoilers.
they have a tendency to power down our heroes. The Hulk was never as strong as he was in the comics. The Thor was never really as strong as he was in the comics. Spider-Man, but they got this right. Everybody's just about as powerful as they're supposed to be. Galactus is this all-consuming threat that when he finally appears on Earth, they're just annoyances to him. He's not really engaging them in battle. He's just going to his destination. And they're doing every little thing in their power to stop him, and it means nothing. Because he's, like you said, he is capital G God in heaven. You know what I mean? Like, how do you stop that? And even with Sue at the very end of the film, kind of pushing him into that gateway, he still escapes it and kills Sue in the process.
Yeah.
Not even touching her by her own overexertion.
Yeah.
And that just gives you a glimpse into his power. What if he decided to do this and just wipe them away? It could have been over like that.
What made you think what made you think he decided not to do something like that?
I think that they were so beneath him, and this is a Galactus thing. When someone is so beneath him, it's like, why would I focus on that ant under my boot?
When he can just go and eat something
We could
else.
just go and eat something else.
Because they didn't kill him, right?
No,
They just banished him.
they just sent him to the other side of the galaxy or universe or whatever.
Yeah.
They were so beneath him that they didn't even warrant his attention. And that's usually what happens. Usually, like, Galactus is just working on his Planet Eater machine, and the Avengers, the Fantastic Four, and the X-Men are all fighting him at the same time. He's not even noticing they're there because they're just gnats. He even says in the
So,
movie, yeah,
okay, so what I like about this story, and maybe what I should take from a lot of comic book stories, is that this is just one instance in their lives. This isn't, oh, a movie, oh, they saved the day, everything's going to be okay forever now. It's not about everything's going to be okay forever. This is just one guy,
this was
one
Tuesday.
time. Here's just one story that we had to go through out of millions and millions. That's
Yes.
pretty cool. And I know that's really obvious to a lot of people, but for me, not so much. You
You
know what I
know,
mean? Like, honestly, like, because I think a lot of people do expect, well, why did he beat him, or why did she beat him so easily, and why did he go away? Well, no, what you just said makes absolute sense. It wasn't worth his time after a while.
at all.
Let them do their thing, banish him. He can go eat anything else he wants,
And come back
basically.
later if he felt like it.
Exactly.
He
If he
knows where
wanted
they
to,
are,
right.
you know?
Wow.
Think about it like
Wow.
this. And I love your point saying that I know this is a movie and this is the most important thing in their entire lives. No, it's Tuesday. You know what I
Right.
mean? They got to
Wow.
go and
Yeah.
they got to fight Doctor Doom down the street next week.
Pretty soon. Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah.
So what the perfect remember in Superman where Superman's at the house and he's kind of like tired and he's bummed out and there's that crazy Mr. Mxyzptlk outside that intergalactic imp
Yeah.
that could
And
be
he's
its
just like
they
sipping on cocoa.
they
Yeah.
got it, man. They got it. That's a movie going on outside. That's a whole movie.
Yeah.
That day is a whole movie of them fighting against the odds and banishing this Earth level threat. No, it's just Tuesday. They got to get up and put their boots on and do something else tomorrow. Even at
Yeah.
and the perfect encapsulation is as the last
Hold
realm
on.
of yeah.
Hold on. I'm sorry. No, you can keep talking. Just give me 1 second.
Yeah, you got it.
Okay.
And what really encapsulates that idea is that at the last reel of the film, they're off running to their next adventure. They get the little notification on their watches, and they're running out of the Ed Sullivan Show or whatever, and they're off to their next adventure. So that's really just the spirit of the Fantastic Four. It's that they're explorers, they're wanderers, they're stargazers, they're family, and using their gifts, especially Reed, especially Sue, that they're able to do the fantastic, and that's why I love them so much as a team because they're just a solid, um, they're just a solid ensemble. They're just a solid cast, and it's not bloated. Some certain teams get so bloated, like Avengers Endgame. It looked cool, but that's not a manageable team. There were 7,000 people outside. You know what I mean? Things get lost in translation. Whereas with the four, you can focus on any member of those teams and you can just fall in love with any of them. Shout out to
True.
Jeffrey's Comics. He has a tattoo of the Thing on his wrist because the Thing is his favorite. He loved Jeffrey. Jeffrey from Jeffrey's Comics loves the Thing.
Okay. I'm glad you brought him up. I wanted to talk about him specifically. Um, in previous viewings of him that I remember, all I remember about him is that he's a rock monster that says it's clobbering time.
Yes.
In this movie, they first of all they made it a point for him, since we're doing spoilers, not to say it. They actually made fun of the idea of how cringy it is that he actually said it. Um, Also, they stuck to the idea that Ben Grimm was human. Like
Yes.
I forgot, or like, oh yeah, that guy was once a human, but it's like not that he was once a human. He is a
A
human being.
human. Mm-hmm.
He's still very much human underneath all of
Yes.
that concrete or whatever it is, you know? So I think that's really cool. I know that there was a few people, a few critics that had a problem with him growing a beard. I thought that was perfect.
It's
It was a reminder that he's human. The hot broad he's into with what's her name? I forgot her
Roz.
name.
Yeah. Red hair.
Taya Leone? No, that's not her name.
I know you're
I
talking
forgot
about.
her name.
Yeah, she's a
But anyway,
poker
you know who I'm
face.
talking about.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, so he had love interest. Like I said, his insecurities, which I'm sure and that's been done before. The whole insecurity. I don't like what I look like. I've
Hmm.
seen other heroes have that issue. Even I mean, I've seen villains have that.
Yeah.
Joker's had that issue. So that's not so much of a new thing. But he was extremely humanized. The thing he liked to cook. There's things about him you saw the like they didn't do the clobbering thing. He
Yeah.
wasn't not that they made him feminine or different or weird and soft because of misogyny and they didn't do any of that either. The thing was just the thing. The thing was just doing his thing. You know what I mean? He was there for the baby. He was there. He expertly flew the ship and whatnot. There were certain things that he was there to do that he was there to do. He wasn't there to clobbering time and blah blah. He wasn't there for all of that. This movie wasn't that, right? It wasn't campy,
No. You know
right?
what? You know what it feels like, and we could talk an hour about Ben Grimm. He's one of the most complex characters in Marvel. It almost feels like he had a phase where he was,
Mm.
you big beluga, I'm the ever loving blue eyed thing. It's clobbering time. It almost feels like that was a phase in his life, and it became camp, and it became cartoons, and
Yeah.
and we're at a place now where he's grown out of it. Where he's like, man, I don't really say that, man. That's
That's exactly what he told Johnny too.
yeah.
Like,
He's
I
like,
don't do that
I
anymore.
don't do that anymore,
Basically, you know what I
man.
mean? He's
I've
like,
kind of.
no, say
What
it.
time has it been? What time has it been? Shut up! I'm not saying it. I'm not
it,
going to
it
drop
it's
you.
hilarious. And what I like about that scene specifically is they were bickering like brother and brother would. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that's what you would do to your brother. Like
Yes.
I don't know. It's so
Wait.
cute.
Wait. If you like the Ben Grimm, Johnny Storm dynamic, which they are bickering brothers and they drive each
That's
other
so awesome.
crazy and play like practical jokes on each other and drive each other. Wait till you see Spidey with Spider-Man with Human Torch. They're best friends in the comics.
So oh my god, that makes sense because they act exactly the same pretty
They're
much.
buddies. They hang out. They
That's
race each
hilarious.
other through the city and stuff like that. They're like homies. So you're
Wh-
gonna
What what do you think, or if you know, what is the age difference between Johnny Storm and Ben Grimm?
very good question. Johnny's the youngest, but he's not a
Right.
child. So he's not a teenager. He's kind of like in his maybe early 20s historically.
Okay.
He's like 22 to 25,
Okay.
whereas Ben Grimm is like maybe in his late 20s, early 30s. And Mr. Fantastic's like in his mid 30s, like 35, 34. And Sue was a little bit under that, like 30, 31. That's
Okay.
usually where they're aged at, because Johnny is the immature younger brother. He's always kind of the hothead, no pun intended. But in this movie, like you said, they have all their classic traits. They're underspoken
Right.
and a bit subtler. You know what I mean? Where there's more humanity to Ben Grimm's gruff nature. He cooks and he watches the baby, and and once again, he's just not a rock monster. He's an expert pilot. You know what I mean? He's of like spacecraft, and he's thoughtful. He goes to church. He's Jewish. He goes to
Is he really?
Sabbath. Yeah, he's a Jewish character.
No kidding. Good for you, Ben Grimm.
He's one of the few Jewish characters in the Marvel universe. It's like
Hell
him
yeah.
and Kitty Pryde are the ones that come to mind of just like being unapologetically Jewish, which is cool. Um, and I just love that they gave us the tropes, but made them human. Like they mellowed them out. They didn't have to be these over the top. Johnny's gonna get girls and stuff. Johnny's like, no, I'm
Yeah.
not really into
Right.
that, man. It's like, Johnny, we know you're already trying to holler at Silver Surfer. I
Hmm.
am, but I'm not. You know what I'm saying? Why do I? There's one scene, I love this scene where and it's so brother sister and so raw, where Sue is giving birth, and she's like, Johnny, you have to kill her. Johnny's like, what? Johnny, she's threatening your nephew. She's gonna kidnap him. You have to kill her. Johnny's like, bet. He just gets on the Star Wars blasters and tries to kill. It's like, Sue, chill out, dog. Like, that doesn't happen using the words like kill doesn't really happen anymore,
Yeah, right.
And Sue was like, I'm not playing. This is my baby. And you kind of
That's
saw glimpses.
that's exactly what I'm talking about. Is like she's dangerous. She knows what's up, but she's she is okay. She is the epitome of femininity. Like there was no she's not a feminist. She's submissive to her husband. She's loyal to her husband. She's loyal to her family. She's not a feminist. She is feminine in
Yes.
every way
Mm-hmm.
possible. She's grace. She's beauty and she's grace.
Great.
She's
She's
all of
Miss
the
United
things.
States, dog.
But you're right. Out of all the characters, out of all the comic book movies, out of any movie really in any genre, with maybe the exception of horror, she says the word kill. A woman says the word, you have to kill her. You have to kill her. That is dangerous right there.
Powerful.
And this was a calculated thought. This wasn't, fuck this bitch. This wasn't anything like that. It has to be done because one, I'm incapacitated. I can't help you get rid of her. She has to go because I'm going through something right now. She will never have my baby, etc., etc., etc. She consciously made that decision. That is powerful, and that's absolutely feminine. Like
Yes.
in every sense of the word, this woman oozes femininity, and it's just a beautiful thing to see.
My
Very
favorite.
beautiful.
My favorite member of the Fantastic Four.
She's
Um,
amazing.
Perfect dovetail into the heart of the film. You know what I mean? And we just really haven't really spoke about him, but he speaks volumes. Is little Franklin Richards. We've touched on him and how important it was the preparation for his birth. Reed making all these weird little machines to see him in vitro. You know, before he's even born. I'm so worried, like a dad, right? I'm so worried. Is what's going to happen with my son? I'm so
Gonna be
worried.
a dad.
I'm going to be a dad.
All right, that's enough.
Enough of
We're
that.
being
If you
nice.
know, if
We're
you
being
know, you know.
nice. We're being
If you know, you know.
nice.
If you know, you know. If you know, you know. And he's stressing out, and it's one of these scenes that just got me right in my heart. And he's holding Franklin. And he's like, you know what? Enough of me trying to, enough of me trying to figure out who you are. He turns off all his machines. He says, I'm gonna wait, and I'm gonna let you tell me who you are. You're my son, and I love you, no matter what. And that touched me. So, why is this movie messing with me, man? Like it hit me right in my little jejunum, dog. I'm like, that's such a sweet thing. You know what? I'm gonna stop stressing about this. I'm gonna give it. He doesn't say it, but he's like, I'm gonna give it to the universe. I'm gonna give it to God. I'm gonna let you tell me who you are. You're my son, and I love you. And no matter what's gonna happen, we'll figure it out. And he's like, what are you trying to tell me now? And he's like, you just peed. All right, I gotta go. That's what you're trying to tell me. Let's go get you changed. It's such a
Mhm.
sweet, quick moment. You know what I mean? That totally encapsulates where Reed's at. It totally encapsulates the infinite potential of children, like that metaphor. You don't know who your child is until no matter how much you try to dictate who your child is, your child's gonna tell you who they are. You know what I mean? And all your influence and all your worrying and all your preparation is really for naught because it's really up to the child to make their own way and be their own person. I
It's
think
very true. And aside from that, you're going to easily learn how much of you is a part of your child, how much of your partner is a part of your child. Like, oh my God, you look just like your mom right there. Oh my God, your dad says that all the time. That kind of stuff. So you're right. There was no need to worry about so many things that a lot of us parents do worry about. I can't imagine the calculations Reed Richards had to go through and the anxieties that he had to like literally consolidate down to the idea of, nah, I'm gonna let you do you, bro. Like
yeah,
I can't imagine how hard that must have been for somebody of that intelligence, right?
the quantum physics that were going on in his head for months on end for him to distill all that down into peace. I'm choosing peace.
Right.
I'm choosing peace for myself, and I'm choosing peace for my son. That speaks volumes. You know what I'm saying, to the overthinker. You know what I mean, the over planner, the over strategizer, and
Yeah.
going back to would I sacrifice my son for the world? Hell no, I'm a parent.
Right.
He's fresh out. We just had
It's an
him.
easy answer.
It's the easiest answer in the world. And
It is.
one nitpick I will say about this movie is I thought it was weird that the general consensus of the world was like, sacrifice the baby. You're stupid.
Yeah, it's too easy. But yes, I agree. They had to move the story along, so that might be the reason why they did it that way. Also, I mean, going back to Superman, we're easily influenced.
We're sheep. We're sheeple.
Hashtag super shit. Hashtag, oh my God, they said this about Superman. Ah, we hate him now. Rabble, rabble, rabble.
Yep.
You know, and the same thing with Fantastic Four. All it took was just a one message, one thing. And guess what? That message was delivered by the Fantastic Four themselves. And they were very honest.
Mm-hmm.
Is he gone? No.
Nah.
Have you defeated him? Not yet. What does he want? Our son. Are you going to give it to him? No.
No.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
they were very honest with the people. You know, so that being said, the people didn't reach out, oh, how dare you? And they weren't very angry, but they were very expectant. They were very entitled. No, what do you mean? Like this is this is a no-brainer. Go give them baby. You know what I mean? So, and this is what makes Sue Storm's speech, be it very very small and short. This is what makes that speech so powerful. I would never sacrifice my son for you guys, but I would never sacrifice you guys for my son. She made a point. We got this, you
We'll
guys.
figure it out.
Let us figure this out for you. You're part of me. I can't live without you. I can't live without him.
And I think that's really the heart
Brilliant.
of the film.
Right.
It's just their family dynamic and them expanding it to the world. You know what I mean? Like, and
Yeah.
just them not being they're perfect. I mean, they're perfectly imperfect, right? And if they were just perfect, it would be boring. But they're layered with conflict and layered with indecision. Like when they decided to, we're gonna have to make the baby the bait, and it's this perfect unspoken. There's another powerful scene, unspoken conversation between Reed and Sue, and Johnny and Ben are like bickering with each other. There's no way we're gonna do this. There's no way. And you can see Reed communicating with Sue through her eyes, and she's like, "There's no other way, is there? There's no other way, is there?
Yeah.
There's no other way, is there?" And Reed is like, I can figure something else out. No, babe, there's no other way. I'm mad about it. I don't want this to happen, but there's no other way. This is how we got to do it. Perfect relationship management under pressure. I love this movie. Like, it's so unspoken. You know the scene I'm talking about?
I do. And what I like the best about that entire situation is that it didn't work. So it's not like they were literally thinking of the only thing that they could have done, and it didn't work. Of course it didn't work. He's a god. Of course he's going to see him wherever the hell he is. He's going to find him. He's a fucking god. That's all there is to that. So they, like I said, they tried everything they could at that point. But did they? Because maybe the entire bait was the fact that it was that the diversion was going to be the fact that he was taken to the house and he was going to follow him there. You know what I mean? There's probably not, actually, the more I say that, but honestly, like, their mistake was that they were desperate, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who wouldn't be? They're throwing spaghetti at the wall and they're seeing what sticks, right?
Yeah.
They found it. They found what was going to stick, and it didn't work. So out of, honestly, maybe desperation, maybe just the sheer idea of survival, eventually he ends up being led back to the black hole. She does what she can with her powers to make sure that he stays. I don't know, what is it? A magnetic force? What is she using exactly?
Yeah. Fun fact. Invisible Woman. Her power is it's almost like the refraction of light and the force of light. Almost think of like a lightsaber, but invisible and everywhere.
I see it is, that if you put opposite magnets and they just bounce.
Yes.
That's how I see what she's doing.
Susan Storm can do everything from fly to turn other things invisible, like she did in this movie,
yes,
to create force fields, to creating small pockets of invisible air that can go into your lung and pretty much collapse your heart. She did that to somebody one good time.
Wow.
Not even fighting them. She can split. She can then make her invisible concussive force as thin as a razor and slice the planet in half. Like she can pretty much do anything with that ability. It's almost reality warping and you can't see any of it. It's because the wizard tried to steal Franklin. You never try to steal Franklin. She said, "I'm looking at your heart right now. Do you know I can just put a bubble in your artery and just give you a cardiac arrest right now? And there's literally nothing you can do about it. I'm thinking about it's. I'm about to put it in there. He's like sweating bullets, and everybody's like, "No, Sue," and it's like, never mess with me and my family ever again, ever.
Wow.
Go fight another Go fight Spider-Man. Go fight somebody who you can mess with. You don't mess with me. And it's like
Wow.
Sue Storm is so badass, dude.
Yeah, she's pretty sick. Oh my goodness.
Oh,
Yeah.
and
I know you said Franklin's the heart of the film. I think Sue Storm is actually the heart of the film.
you're not wrong. I can't fight you. You're not wrong. And before we close out to our final thoughts, the last the stinger is that they say 4 years have passed. You know what I'm saying? And Franklin is like 4 years old. He's 4 years old and he's talking, and they're reading stories to him and showing him like quantum physics books, like in Men in Black and shit. You know what I'm saying? Just kind of giving you a taste of what they're planting for him. Sue exits the room for a second.
Fun
Yeah,
fact: Will Smith would have shot his ass.
yeah. That kid about to start some shit, Zed.
Little white girl, middle of the hood,
But some
reading
quantum
quantum physics books.
that book is way too advanced for him.
Will
Dude.
Smith would have shot Franklin easily.
Why do you think little
Guys
Franklin
know.
deserved to die? Fucking bullet hole right here, dog. But we get our first little, almost nothing tease of Doctor Doom.
I'm
And
so happy you brought that up. I needed that. That's exactly what I was going to talk to you about. Like, were we going to talk about the end credits?
Yes,
Yeah, that was
a
sick.
taste, just a little. Not even. It's not even food. It's the smell of the barbecue outside the building. You know what I'm saying? It's the smell of the In and Out as you get off the 105 freeway. You know what I mean? You don't even. Yeah, it's just a little, and it's like, what is this? It's just because through the whole movie they sprinkle Latveria, which is the home. They keep showing the flag of Latveria. They're having at the Future Foundation. They have all
Empty
the
seat.
empty seat. That's because Doom is like, I hate Reed Richards. I would never support anything he does. And it's like, ooh, Doom is not there. Of course, Doom is not there. Why would he support anything that Reed does? He hates Reed with an all-consuming passion. And you get these glimpses of Latveria. So, is this their Doom for this universe, or is this a multiverse Doom that went through the wormhole that was created when Galactus was sent away? Because those wormholes go both ways. So that Doom could have slipped in as Galactus slipped out. You know what I'm saying? The Robert Downey Jr. Galactus. I'm just thinking big brain here. Because I'm like, what Doom are we talking about? Because there's a thing, Toots, where there's multiple versions of each character throughout the multiverse. And sometimes they hang out. There's a thing called the Council of Reeds, where somewhere in the offshoots of the multiverse, there's a hall with 75 different Reed Richards from all over the galaxy that come and pick each other's brains and figure out next level tech and shit. And it's like, that's also a council of dooms where they're all just sitting around on the edge of space, thinking of ways they can fuck over Reed Richards.
It sounds like Rick and Morty, to be honest.
Very Rick and Morty. It was Rick and Morty before Rick and Morty.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
It's
funny.
this brilliant idea of like, wait, what? Oh, you've become smart enough to join the Council of Reeds, Reed Richards from XYZ. Yeah, we're over here talking about like the bending of light curvatures and how to give Peter Parker a haircut. Like they were just thinking of the most craziest things, but my mind went wild because it's like some people are saying that Franklin Richards was healing Dr. Doom's face. Because one thing about Doom, the origin of Doom is that Dr. Doom and Reed Richards were college roommates back in the day. Doom was royalty from Latveria, and he was a foreign exchange student, and to him was the smartest person on earth. Couldn't tell Victor Vaughn nothing until he met Reed Richards, who was smarter than him, and that infuriated Doom because Doom is anything but vain. Doom's mom dies. She's stolen by Mephisto, but that's a whole different story.
Oh,
Doom's
wow.
Yes. So he creates a machine that lets him travel to hell to save his mother. In college, I'm gonna create this machine. I'm gonna steal the spirit of my mom and bring it back to Earth. Her spirit was stolen by a demon. Turns out it's Mephisto from Ironheart. Reed tells him, "Your machine is flawed. There's something wrong with it. It's not right. You're a fool, Richards. My machine is perfect. You're stupid and I'm smart. Get out of here. He turns on the machine and explodes in his face, and he gets the slightest scar on his face. And because of his vanity, he never takes off the mask. And that's why he wears the metal mask. Is because his vanity is so strong and he's so full of himself. That little scar is he feels like his face can never be shown again.
Was he hot?
Very hot.
Well, I get it then.
Yeah, he was turbo hot, 6 pack. I'm the best, smartest. No one can defeat me. I got all the girls. I know kung fu. I study magic. Who? Look at this nerd, this turbo nerd, trying to tell me that my calculations are wrong. Get out of here,
Nerd.
nerd. And ever since then, Doom has hated Reed Richards with a passion. It does nothing but vex him. Okay, I know we're just about time. One last thing about Doom, just to tell you the pettiness of Doom. So after a while, Reed and Sue have another child named Valeria. Doom. And that child was having major complications. That baby was going to kill Susan Storm. And Reed could not figure out how to have the pregnancy, have Valeria be born, and Sue live. Kind of like a very Galactus thing. I don't know how to figure this out. Doom said, well, I figured it out. Hey, I'll help you. I'll help Sue go through labor, but you have to promise me one thing. And Reed was like, what? I get to name the baby, and I'm her godfather, and she has to visit Latveria once a month. No, Doom, this is a kind of weird plot. You're trying to do something. Yes, I'm trying to do something. But the question is, do you want your child to be born or not? Do you want to save your beautiful Sue? This is my ultimatum. I'm not asking for the world. I want to name the baby, and I will be her godfather, and she will see me every week for dinner. No one skips dinner at Castle Von Doom. Fine. So he gets them through the pregnancy. He names her Valeria after his mother, and she loves her some Unky Doom. And it eats Reed up all the fun. And she's more Doom than him.
Wow.
Excuse me.
Don't die.
I know, I'm just so hype. She takes on the traits of Doom. And her superpower is she doesn't have the power cosmic like Franklin does, but she has Reed's brain. She's super duper 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 smart. Almost smarter than Reed and Doom. And Doom whispers little evils in her ear. What is happening? What is happening, dude?
What the hell? What was that?
Aliens, dog. What is? Oh no! Hold on. It's my Somebody's on my Bluetooth. It sounds like aliens, dude. This is creepy as hell. Let me pause my video.
For you.
Hold on.
Holy crap! I'm kind of creeped out for you, if I'm being honest. And all of your Doom facts are what the fuck? Your Doom facts are extremely fascinating. I'm hanging on every word, to be honest. Oh, are you okay?
No, I think I just got visited by aliens, dude.
What was she saying?
It was like Carfax number 7, Japan 8, 11, Turbo 911. What is happening in my room? So I had to disconnect.
Did they hit the second tower?
I'm so scared right now. We got to end this show. Okay.
Oh my god! What the?
Okay, that is the weirdest thing that's ever happened on this channel, ever.
Are we keeping it?
Yes, we're keeping that in. That's goated. That's goated. Watch the episode. Not final verdict. I could talk Doom all day. Doom has godlike stories, but maybe I'll talk some more Doom. MOTN live Friday nights, 6 p.m.
I'm down to do that. I'm down to do it on an after dark too, to be honest.
I can nerd out about Doom all day.
That's cool. Yeah, I like that.
It's time. There are now 5 members of the Fantastic Four, so we're gonna do 0 out of 5 surfboards. Give me your final thoughts on this movie and your rating.
My final thoughts on this movie are it probably could not have been done in a better way. Like I said, there was no camp involved. I know there is a lot of hubbub around Pedro Pascal. I know that Pedro Pascal and I can't remember the fellow's name, but the actor that plays The Thing are both kind of prominent and kind of like popular right now. I'm not really so sure about the other two, but they're actively trying to make things out of nothing when it comes to this movie and these actors. Um, and I think there's a reason for that. And and again, this is my tinfoil hat coming on. We literally just had aliens, so I mean, how much of a
Anything can
stretch?
happen at this
How
point,
much is
dude.
a stretch is my tinfoil hat? Exactly.
Yeah.
So, the movie was amazing, and I think there's a message that's being sent out in this film that a lot of people don't want to hear, or a lot of people in Hollywood and or in critic form don't want out. And that message is your family comes first without question all the time. And there's ways to work around it. There's ways to communicate healthy. This movie was amazing, extremely well rounded. The action was great. Even Digital Baby was okay. I'm not going to complain so much about Digital Baby, but they could have done Digital Baby a little bit better. That being said, because I gave Superman a 4.5 out of 5, um, in our last review and one of the last summer movies that we reviewed, this one hands down is going to get a 5.0. I think it was a very, very, very well done, pretty much perfect film. And I cannot give that one a 4.5 when I know that this one was done better. I like the soundtrack to Superman better. I like the humor in Superman better. I love the message in Superman. It was emotionally gravitating. This movie, just as emotionally gravitating in a different way, it encouraged you to be everything that you think you want to second guess about yourself. It wants you to be that. The feminine aspect was not feminist. There's a difference between the two, and I think this is a message that needs to be laid out. There's no girl power involved. There's no jealousy. There's no none of this. It's just a movie about superheroes that are being super and loving each other. And I think that's important. And it may be cheesy. That's fine. It's cheesy to some people. We're old. It's not cheesy to
It's
us
not
anymore.
just
It's
us
actually
anymore.
a very good message.
Yeah.
So to me, this is probably it's probably for me going to be the number one movie of the summer. Is Fantastic Four 5.0.
Very rare. We don't give out fives very
Very rare.
often on this channel. Very good, succinct idea of why this is a perfect movie. 5 out of 5 means perfect. That means like
Pretty
I would
much.
watch this.
Yeah.
I want to watch this again. I want it on
I can't wait
DVD.
to watch it again. Yes.
I want the 1/6 scales of all of these members. I want them locked in on my shelves
Well,
somewhere.
I'm poor, so but yes, that's you. That's you.
No,
That's
I,
reason.
I give plasma, ladies and gentlemen. You don't understand. That's all I can afford. I give plasma right here, right at this part right here. That's where right here. That's where the plasma comes out. I'm a little dizzy. I need some food, but that's one hot toy. Wait a week, do it again. That's another hot toy. We're in business now, baby. Oh man, I was very apprehensive about this movie, even more so than Superman.
So was I.
I was
So
worried. I
was
was
I.
like, as being a big a Fantastic Four fan I am, I didn't like the casting. I didn't think Pedro Pascal was going to do it because he's so oversaturated. It's like Dwayne the Rock Johnson is Superman. Like, ugh, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want that. I don't want a Hollywood face to be a comic book character. I hate when they do that. I was very worried about that. I was worried that it didn't exist in the MCU, that they weren't going to be rubbing elbows with the Avengers or the Thunderbolts or Spider-Man. They're their own separate pocket, which is almost like a cop out. But at the same time, it strengthened the movie because it gives you the option to not have the baggage, like I said before, of all that other stuff that Marvel's doing. It stands on its own 2 feet and
It
lets
does.
you focus on the four and not have any distractions or any pretense. It just lets you enjoy it. Um, I love the depictions of these characters. These are characters I've grown up with since I was a kid. Ben Grimm, Johnny Storm, Susan Storm, Franklin Richards, Reed Richards, Galactus. I used to have a toy Galactus when I was a kid, like this big, dude. He was sick. So seeing this on the big screen, and I was talking to Mike Prime earlier, and he saw the movie and said, "Yeah, this is the absolute very best depiction of the characters in all of source material.
Wow.
This is better than the video games. This is better than the I wouldn't say the comics. Comics are hard to top, but it's better than every movie that's ever made. It's better than all the cartoons. This is in a nutshell, a perfect movie. So I have to, and this has only ever happened once with the Joker. This is getting a perfect 5 out of 5 from me.
Yo.
I want to see it again. I
And
want it in my veins.
you didn't want to watch the Joker. I forgot
No,
about that. You didn't even have any time for it, and you did give it a perfect score.
very
This is
similar to this.
wild.
I was going to skip this movie because I was so scared. I was like, what if they fuck up the 4? It's going to break my heart, right? No, they got it so
We
right.
talked about it. I sent you clips of like, uh-oh, this is what they're talking about right now. This is what they're saying. Like, oh shit, what are we gonna do? This movie was nothing,
Nothing.
nothing, nothing like people were talking. Yeah, people. Yeah, I don't know shit.
Y'all don't come to find out. Maybe y'all don't know shit.
Right.
Crazy, crazy. Something to consider, as Lumpy would say. Something to consider.
Shout out, Lumpy.
Shout out, I Lumpy. Dog. The guy's the goat, man. Yeah, this is a perfect damn film. I want to watch it on Disney Plus. I want the figures. I have a big ass Herbie here, that I don't regret getting. I just need this back in my veins. I'm probably going to go see it when I have time again before it gets out of theaters.
Yeah.
And I love everything about it. I love the depictions of the Silver Surfer. I love that they mentioned the Mole Man. We didn't even talk about the Mole Man.
We didn't, but he was a very satisfactory addition to the entire sideline of the movie. He was very
Yes,
it was the humor of the movie, really.
absolutely. Him
This
vexing.
movie this movie didn't have the one-liners that Superman did. Like, it didn't have the Guardians of the Galaxy feel.
It didn't
It
have the
wasn't as
1A. It didn't have nothing like
exactly.
that.
It wasn't as playful as Superman, but at the same time it was. Like, it's really, you have to watch the movie in
You have to
order
watch it.
to get it. But yeah, it wasn't as playful in its own right, and that's because the soundtrack was different. The soundtrack was a solid soundtrack that only dedicated itself to the film and the action behind the film. There was no um
Poppy song to make you feel
poppy
a certain
songs,
way.
yeah. But I that's not a complaint, because it worked for
It
that
worked for
director
that.
and it worked for that movie. Yeah,
Exactly.
James Gunn's very good at picking good music. He's
Doesn't
he's
it?
definitely a he's definitely a music head. He knows shit about music for sure.
Doesn't it
Yeah.
feel good to like a Marvel movie and like a DC movie and it's
It
totally fine?
does. It feels weird, actually.
It
It feels. I've never felt this before, to be
Yeah.
honest.
It doesn't
But
happen.
I'm a DC girl. I don't like anything Marvel for the most part. I don't like anything Marvel has ever done. It's too campy and it's too gaga 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 with the giant like soundtracks and like it's just like my thing is DC's dark. It's darker. That's what I like about it. That's what attracts me to it is that it's darker, which makes it a little bit more realistic in its own right. Um, but no, there's been a handful of movies that I have to say, even like okay, Ant-Man, I enjoyed it. You know what I mean? I was properly introduced to a different character that I knew nothing about. There's
Hmm.
certain things about that universe that is absolutely attractive. There's a lot of things actually that is absolutely attractive. It just has to be done well. And by done well, it doesn't mean more action. It doesn't mean more CGI. It doesn't mean more character development necessarily. I just want something that's true to form, something that's canon for the most part, that is going to be written well. And I've said that about any movie that I actually watch. But yeah, man, I very much enjoyed this movie.
And I
It
and
damn near deserved the
yeah,
perfect score that it received. Yeah,
absolutely. And
easily.
this proves to you that there was never a superhero drought. There was never a superhero fatigue. There was a good movie drought. There
There
was
you
a good
go.
movie fatigue.
That's right.
And when you give these characters to filmmakers who actually give a care, you get magic like the Fantastic Four. You get magic like Superman, and we're able to see what that can be.
Right.
Um, and it just makes me excited for the future. It makes me excited to see these characters again somewhere else, and we're going to see them. And for the future of both franchises, this is what I've always wanted. I've always wanted Marvel and DC to be at each other's necks, putting out excellent content and making each other better. Iron sharpens iron. You know what
For
I'm
sure.
saying? And I think the competition is so healthy at this point that it's a free for all. Let them go nuts. Let them get innovative. Let them hire new talent. Let them push the envelope. And let's see what we get for this future of superhero movies. It has me so pumped. I'm so excited.
I
Any
love it.
any
I love
final thoughts, Toots, before we close this bad boy out?
No, but that was amazing. That was so much fun. The movie itself was a lot of fun. I definitely want to see it in theaters again before it gets released into small TVs. It's not a small TV movie.
Nope.
Galactus is ridiculous in this film. You won't get the same feel if you watch it on a TV at home. My TV's small though, so maybe that's just me. Um but no, I thoroughly enjoyed this review. I had a really good time watching the movie. It was perfect. It was very good film, and man, it feels good to say that. It really does feel good to say that.
Absolutely. It
Yeah.
feels great saying it. Once again, if you haven't seen this movie, just happen to listen to us, thank you for hanging out and kind of getting our 2 cents. Go see it. This is something you want to see on the big screen when it's out now in IMAX with popcorn. Have a good time. So definitely concur with what Toots there. That being said, this has been Masters of the Nerdiverse reviews. As you can see, we absolutely love this movie, getting a perfect score, which has only happened once in the history of this channel. 8 years
Right?
of doing this. So please watch this movie. Um, with that, thank you, Toots. Once again, you're always a rock star when it comes to these
Thank
reviews. We
you.
some of my
Thank you for having me.
some of our best episodes are just me and you talking about movies. You know what I'm saying? So I think this is going to be in the record books among that pantheon of the Big Lebowski in Joker.
Oh my
You know what I
God,
mean?
yes. Yeah.
So in
Those are
Moonwalker,
audio only. Go find them.
go
They're
find
audio
them.
only podcasts, but they are treasures in our hearts. We poured our hearts out in how we felt about the Lebowski. We poured our hearts out when it came to the Joker. Like I said, that Joker review was different because I it took a very long time to convince Mike G to actually watch the movie.
Yeah, I don't want
He
to watch it.
watched it with me in my house, and we immediately recorded right after.
Yep.
And it was an insane experience. It was really good. So go find those episodes. Like I said, they're audio only. Listen to them while you're at work. Listen to them while you're doing your thing. Do what you got to do. But man, they are worth a listen to. So yeah.
Yes. They're on YouTube, they're on Spotify, which reminds me to tell you to please subscribe to our channel so you're made aware when new episodes come out on the channel. Please like our content because that helps grow the channel, and comment. Let us know what you thought. Was this movie mid? Tell us, Black Pill nerds, come after us. Tell us how this movie sucked and how it wasn't realistic, and how Sue Storm hair. How can her hair be blonde? And just tell us the dumb shit y'all like to stick to and be mad about. Um, Die mad. This movie's awesome. I don't give a shit. This movie's great.
This
So
movie's beautiful.
this movie's
It's very cool.
beautiful. That being said, we have of course been Masters of the Nerdiverse reviews. Enjoy the skies. Bringing this back. Enjoy the skis. 4, 4, 4.